Crash Twinsanity is by far one of the best games I've played in my childhood. I mean, the Crash Bandicoot series as a whole was something that I obsessed about when I was young. Although I do need to confess I did only grow up with the Game Boy Advance titles and not the PS1 originals. I never owned a PS1. But still, it's amazing to see how well the new Crash N-Sane Trilogy is doing, which is a collection of the original PS1 Crash games remade from scratch in a new PS4 graphics engine. And you know what? I am having a blast with these games so far. The visuals look amazing, as I'm sure you'll agree. Low poly Crash. I'm so sorry, that's a really bad meme. And each game is so much fun to 100% complete. Well, apart from Crash 1, because the colour gems almost made me throw my controller at the wall in frustration. Why is the depth perception so bad? But this new PS4 remaster got me thinking, what if they were to get Crash Twinsanity from the PS2 and Xbox and remake the game for current gen consoles, just like what they did with the N-Sane Trilogy? And maybe they can add in some new stuff or cancelled levels from the original game. I'm getting really excited just by the thought of this. Please make it happen, Activision. Oh, and remake Crash Team Racing. And Spyro, can't forget about Spyro. I've gone off topic. Right, here we go. This is why Crash Twinsanity has awesome game design and why it needs a remake. Was that a good intro? Am I going to keep it like that? Gameplay-wise, Crash Twinsanity takes a very different approach to most other Crash games. Crash still has his old moves, like the double jump, spin attack, slide, but now, instead of running down linear corridors and playing 30-odd levels from a level select, the entirety of Crash Twinsanity is made up of 4 big worlds with 4 levels in each, and each of these levels are designed to be like connected 3D playgrounds. It's still got a sense of linearity to make it feel like one long adventure, but most of the time you're never forced to go down a linear path like an old Crash game. Right from the start of the game, you're plonked down on a beach and you're not given a clear direction as to where to go, but there are things nearby which catch your attention. There's a box right in front of you which teaches you how Aku Aku works. What have I got? An island in the distance which hides a secret gem, a mountain you can climb to get extra lives, and some weird fish falling down. I really don't know what they do to this day. Or an area full of nitro crates which kill you in one hit no matter how many Aku Akus you have. Okay, seriously, Aku Aku, you were meant to protect me. What the hell, man? Sort yourself out. Straight away, the game encourages exploration and rewards you for taking time to solve small puzzles within the levels. There's no hand-holding. It lets the player figure out almost everything by themselves. Take this section, for example. You could follow Cortex and bounce up the mountain to continue with the story, or you could turn right instead and find a bunch of boxes you need to hop around in order for you to get a gem and see some nice snazzy bonus content. The way I'd describe the levels is like this. It's still a linear path, but you can explore around this path and play with hidden areas. And there are set pieces which make each level feel different. One minute you're doing some classic platforming, then you're taking on a giant robot, then Crash and Cortex are rolling around in an underground cave, and then later on in the game you use Cortex as a snowboard. You even do a bit of stealth at one point to hide from tribespeople as you travel down a river. This all doesn't make the game feel cluttered though, like the game still knows what it wants to be because each level links in with each other. They feel connected. As soon as one level finishes, you just carry on from there into the next level, like there you go, you don't even feel the transition. And I think that's just a clever, fresh take on level design that Crash Bandicoot hasn't really tried before. The only thing I'd probably say could do with improvement is how Crash actually controls on his own. I feel like the controls could perhaps be tweaked just a little bit, specifically the jumping, because it feels too fast and heavy to actually work with the tight platforming in the levels, but minor complaint. Also, game devs, fix Nina's grappling hook, for God's sakes. I swear it never works correctly and I'm having to mash the circle button down. So to recap, the gameplay, very good. The level design, fantastic. But the feel of each character could probably be a little bit improved. The graphics for this game are a massive improvement from the previous Crash game, Wrath of Cortex, which, if I'll be honest, didn't have amazing graphics for its time. And Twinsanity definitely feels like the PS2 capabilities are being pushed as effectively as how the PS1 graphics were pushed back in the day. There are a few issues with draw distance, but it doesn't really matter. The game also runs at a solid 60 frames a second as well, and it definitely helps make the game feel more alive. Another cool little touch is that after the first level, you can see the starting area of the game in the distance while you fight the first boss. That is a really nice view. If a remake of this game redid the graphics from scratch and made it look just as good as the N-Sane Trilogy, I would love it. But I also wouldn't mind if they just upscaled the game for HD. Kinda like what happened with Zelda Wind Waker or the Kingdom Hearts HD collections. So Crash Twinsanity's graphics are fine for what they are, but I'm definitely okay with any improvement so long as the game still runs in 60 frames per second. As for the scenery, maybe a bit of bloom and lighting effects, bit of motion blur maybe, individual blades of grass, that's a very cool graphic effect. Or should I say, Grassic effect. Thank you, I'm here all week, I'm absolutely hilarious. The music for Crash Twinsanity is basically the audio equivalent of perfection. Every single song and sound effect in the game is made by Spiral Mouth, and their music is made entirely out of a cappella. So basically, their voices and nothing else. Everything from the intro song to the boss battle music. My favourite is definitely the Rooftop Rampage level, where they somehow edited their singing to make it sound like electric guitars. It's awesome. It perfectly captures Crash Bandicoot's cartoony style, but also adds a whole new vibe to it to fit each environment. Oh, and there's a cover of the Blue Danube in this game. Genius. There's so much variety in the music, and it all helps make the game feel more atmospheric. I definitely recommend you give the full soundtrack a listen on YouTube. You'll get it stuck in your head for days. There's a lot of cut content for Crash Twinsanity because the game essentially had to be rushed out in time way back in 2004. Because of this, there were a few glitches and things which look a little bit unpolished. There were even entire levels cut out from this game, such as a level where you physically go inside Coco's mind and end up in this weird dreamland full of gingerbread houses. I'm not even making that up. Why the hell did that idea have to be scrapped? As well as this, you can use cheat codes in the final game to find a weird unfinished hoverboard somewhere in the level, but it's really glitchy and unfinished. It was apparently meant to be used for a section where Crash and Cortex are flying whilst being chased by sharks. Okay, but I'd love to see some of these forgotten levels and concepts come back if there ever is a remaster of Crash Twinsanity, because it's going to make the game have a lot more content and replayability and make it feel admittedly more like a complete package. And I know this next part is unlikely, but maybe they could add an entirely new level into the game to catch people by surprise. I'd love to see another rollerball level like near the start of the game, because that's the only part which actually uses this gameplay idea, and maybe the game devs could find a way to replay old chapters of the game after you complete them. But to be honest, I'm not too sure about that one. So, to conclude, improve the graphics of the game, add new levels and bonus content, fix some of the glitches, don't change the music, don't change the level design formula, don't change the story, keep the game at 60 frames a second if possible, and most importantly, don't change the penguin scene with Cortex. That is a legendary moment.
Fish?
And that, ladies and gents, is why Wait, Cortex, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing that to Crash? This is a kid's game. Crash, why are you smiling as if you're enjoying this? This isn't 50 Shades of Grey.